Hello Internet, this is BoneCarlos coming to you live. It looks like it's going to be Tal'Darim Altar. Yep, there it is. And the opponents today are going to be Manny, spawning as the purple Zerg, and his opponent is going to be HalfSaiyan, spawning as the red Terran. Now, keep in mind, he can't go Super Saiyan 4, but Super Saiyan 1, 2, and 3 are still available options for HalfSaiyan. So Manny, you gotta be careful on that if he does decide to go on that route. Now, this is going to be a low-level play. I do believe it is Manny that is the low gold player or the high silver player, and HalfSaiyan is either the high silver player or the low gold player. Basically, we're going to be seeing a silver versus gold matchup, and already HalfSaiyan is going to go ahead and put down a supply depot right at the front. Yeah, apparently Stefano is French. And HalfSaiyan doesn't want to beat Stefano. I don't know why not, because Stefano is having the time of his life getting into cheeky shenanigans outside the SC2 gaming scene, while still being considered one of the top Zerg players in the world. I would say behind DRG, obviously, but still, that's just my opinion. What do I know? I am just a lowly platinum player myself, and it looks like Manny's actually doing the very sensible thing, sending his overlords to scout the bottom and left hand spot, while sending his drone cross map, so he's just gonna go ahead and be covered very very easily. So then you are French. Nope, bitches be tripping. Nope, nope, nope. While Manny is putting down his hatchery at already at 12 supply, so very standard play, especially considering these guys are kind of low-level players, quote-unquote. It looks like this drone is trying to get at that SCV, but it ain't gonna happen since it's gonna have a backup any second now. Now they're just gonna go ahead and start a little battle right in front of that barracks, and finally the drone is forced to be pushed away, but oh, it gets split open by that drill. And it looks like HalfSaiyan is preparing, gearing himself up to take a quick expansion of his own. I mean, the hatchery is about half done for Manny, and by the time this expansion is done, it should be in about another two minutes and a half, but still no extractor just yet, so no Zergling speed gonna come out any time now. Pure yeah, just pure minerals, nothing too crazy. Now HalfSaiyan is quick expanding, fast expanding, so he's gonna go ahead and put down a bunker, secure it, complete this wall off. More than likely gonna put down an add-on right over here just to complete this wall off nice and easy. But before that, he still needs to get himself an assimilator. An extractor is down for Manny, so a little bit late. Usually you want to put down the extractor at the same time that the spawning pool goes down, so you have your 100 gas available as soon as that spawning pool pops. But since he already did scout off, he already knows exactly where HalfSaiyan is, probably deduced that the fast expand was going to go down. He just went ahead and said, nah, I don't need to worry about speedlings just yet, or even get the gas for them. So he's just delaying that for a while. Already has a queen training at the main, at the natural expansion, so good for him. He's going to start putting down that vomit of the larva, while refineries are being put down by Manny at the same time. So he's going to go ahead and start churning out those Vespin geysers, and 2 more at the expansion. So we're more than likely going to see some heavy tech plays. Since he hasn't put an add-on on his barracks, we expect to see a factory come down any second now. I'd actually like to see him put those SCVs in those refineries, since these 4 refineries are mining less gas, and these 2 would be if they had full of SCVs. 6 lings are being produced by Manny with a single spine crawler up front for defense, just in case. Taking a look at the vision, we see Manny hasn't really gotten any other information aside from the initial scouting, and the same could be said pretty much for HalfSaiyan. So they're both building blind. There's nothing too crazy going on between both players, and they're just gearing up for the general feel of how PvT really is going to just play out. Speedling is, well, you know, metabolic boost is being researched, so those speedlings are going to go ahead and get their wings very, very soon. Probably be easier to just drink a Red Bull or 2. And I actually like the positioning of this queen. Most people like to put their queens here and here, but it does leave them a little bit vulnerable to an attack, and that's generally, you don't want to lose those queens, especially if you are a Zerg player. This queen should probably be over here. more than likely this is just an accident, and Manny hasn't really moved it out just yet. We actually see an orbital command, and look at the holy Q-ups, Batman. You could actually just, I know I suffer from this from time to time, but really just have 2 building on each, because that's, you know, 150 minerals you are wasting just by queuing up your SCVs at that time, but he's still floating a lot of minerals actually. For a Terran player, you want to keep those minerals quite low. The lower the better. Generally, you want to keep them at least under 200 the entire game, and this is why you generally want to keep your minerals low. If you're just doing your thing, you get a false sense of security coming in from your income, from your economy. You're like, man, I have so many minerals, I'm just going to throw down 5, 6, 7, 8 barracks. I mean, in this situation, it's only 5 barracks, but you could overmake those unit producing structures, and ones that you really typically can't support on 2 bases. I mean, right now he could definitely support 5 barracks with these 2 bases, even if they did have add-ons. Maybe throwing on a factory or a starport to keep, maybe throwing down a starport and a factory, and he'll be able to support all of those. But other than that, not too much. And I kind of stumbled a little bit because he actually built another command center. So as soon as that one is up and ready, he's probably going to pull out these Marines and start nibbling away at his destructible rocks. And it looks like Manny is taking the Zelnaga tower, so good for him. He did miss one, though. There is an SCV right over here. And his destructible rocks are already taken care of. So looks like he made a heart. That's cute. Finally, an add-on does go down. His first add-on of the game. A reactor is being produced, while a couple of tech labs and a couple of more reactors in the 4 that he built in the middle of his base factory is going to go down. So more than likely this is going to skip over onto a traditional MMM ball. I expect to see a starport any second now with a reactor here on this factory to be able to start producing out, churning out those medevacs. See a little bit of shooting going down. I'm not sure exactly what was being shot at, but here comes an overlord. We're gonna see a changeling right over here, drop it down. I'm just gonna go ahead and explore HalfSaiyan's entire base, while HalfSaiyan just can't decide how to build these bunkers or these supply depots. He finally does get a nice little pattern that he wants. He's gonna go ahead and just produce them like crazy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 1,200 minerals that have just been spent on this single SCV. Probably better spent on barracks, maybe a starport here or there. Actually produce units that are, you know, that you use to destroy things. While Manny's just hanging out, he finally does have a meaningless. I know he is building a spire. His spire is actually finished, so maybe hopefully see some mutalisc harassment. While his 3rd expansion is already up and running. So he's having himself a grand old time, still not doing anything quite yet with this overseer, while HalfSaiyan is just churning out those upgrades. So he has double engineering bay, double ups on the way for his infantry. It looks like stim pack is being researched. Concussive shells hasn't been done yet, hasn't even been started yet, but the Marines already have the combat shielding. Finally, the Marines actually decided to poke forward and start churning out these destructible rocks, since this command center has been doing nothing besides putting down those OP mules for the last minute or so. Taking a look over at Manny's base, he still doesn't have any upgrades. I mean, he does have a bending list, and he does have a +1 ground carapace is being researched, while at the same time +1 attack for his flyers is being researched as well. It looks like the food count is fairly even, and the units lost is fairly low, and that's pretty typical for this level of play. I mean, generally around 12-minute mark, higher level players already have already secured completely their 3rd. They've already gone down the tech path that they want, but no big deal. This is, like I said, this is gold, silver, not knocking them, but it's just all fun and games. Am I right? I am right. This destructible rocks are still about 70%, and I think now would be the great time for me to take a commercial break. Hit it, guys.
Al Pacino's booty sweat, popping ass open, booty sweat and bust a nut bar.
Welcome back. Thank you, Booty Sweat, for that commercial break. Everyone enjoy your booty sweat and Busta Nut Bars. So back to the game. Nothing much happened during that commercial break. Manny just is taking his third extractor, putting down ahead his natural expansion, while the creep spread is pretty non-existent. He finally does have a queen. He's putting down those creep tumors. I'd actually like to see the creep about halfway around the map, since there hasn't been any kind of harassment or anything of that nature. While HalfSaiyan finally put down that destructible rock, he's going to put down that orbital command at the third, and he's going to start churning out that economy. Taking a look at the income tab, the harvester count is actually quite high for HalfSaiyan, while quite low on Manny's side. Usually you want, once a Zerg player captures his third base, you want to start just powering those drones and having yourself a grand old time. You want to hit about 70 by the time the mid game, so in about 4 or 5 minutes you want to have around 70 to 80 drones for a Zerg player. He has a nice little flock of Mutalisks and no defense on the field for HalfSaiyan. He does have an engineering bee, but he actually has a couple of missile turrets in his main base, so that's going to be a-okay. A single one at his expansion, but nothing at the third base. So if these Mutalisks decide to swing around and attack from this angle, they'll have a grand old time picking apart these SCVs. A nice little ball of Terran infantry is there, but still no SCV backup or no starport backup, while holy mother of barracks, 1 2 3 4 5 more barracks are being put down along with the original, and those 4, there's going to go ahead and be a total of 10 barracks, but not a single medevac in sight. This little factory finally makes his grand old time all the way around the map. It looks like Manny is just scouting the map with his beetlings, making sure there's nothing to no crazy shenanigans going on, nothing like 5 or 6 expansions from the Terran player. Just wanting these guys to attack. There he goes. Manny finally does select these Mutalisks. He's going to go ahead and push forward and get into the SCV count. And taking a look at the units, last time we already see a single, 2 SCVs, 2 more, another one, and it looks like he's gotten himself quite a few amount of SCV kills. It looks like he had himself 7 SCV kills, so very good for him. Manny's going to go ahead and start nibbling away at these supply depots. He's just trying to stay out of range of this missile turrets for now, and one supply depot does go down, and he's going to get himself quite a bit of supply depot kills before it's all said and done, as long as he doesn't push forward too much. Finally, the medevacs do try to push forward, but they are not loaded, so nothing that could shoot up is in the air. Finally, HalfSaiyan chases away and actually traps the Mutalisks of Manny in the middle of this little crevasse, and these Marines are just going to go ahead and chase these Mutalisks away. That flock is going to go ahead and go home. A bunch more Mutalisks are actually on the field of play, so along with these we actually see about 16 Mutalisks are on the field. Yep, 16 Mutalisks are on the field. A nice little transfer of workers and plenty of spine crawlers on the field for that, protecting that natural third. He's actually Manny's researching his +2 attack upgrade for his flyers, but nothing yet for his infantry. They still have they actually have 1-1, and it looks like he just stopped right there. He has a nice gaggle of Zerglings and Banelings, so you know, Banelings, Zerglings, and Mutalisks, pretty prototypical of a ZVT at this point, while nothing too crazy for HalfSaiyan just yet. I mean, he has himself some nice infantry units. A lot of add-ons are being put down, but it looks like just a bunch of reactors. Only 2 of these barracks have tech labs, so about 2 Marauders at a time, while a bunch of Marines are going to be able to be produced. Man, he's actually supply blocked. He lost an overload. It looks like this Marine gets credit for that kill. A drop is going to go ahead and happen. This Queen has no chance. It's going to go down very quickly. A spine crawler is nibbling away at a distance. No stim just yet. Finally a stim forward, and it looks like the stutter step has occurred. He's going to push forward, and it looks like HalfSaiyan is going to be cleaned up. Finally spots all of these Zerglings and says, nope, I'm going to go ahead and go home. The Mutalisks are there. They're going to go ahead and take out this entire medevac full of units. Only a single Marauder survives, but it was quickly taken care of and mopped up by those Mutalisks. Back in HalfSaiyan's base, he actually does put a couple of missile turns down for his third. He doesn't want the repeat of what happened a few minutes ago to happen again in any shape, way, or form. 15 drones are being produced at a time for Manny, so looks like he's going to use most of them for spine crawlers, and most of his main army is right here protecting the third, while a few banelings are on the main ramp up to the natural expansion. So both players are kind of in a standstill, not sure, neither of them knowing exactly what they want to do. This Marine is still hanging out, making sure nothing's going to go ahead and take these mineral patches just yet, while looks like another Marine is here hanging out, enjoying the shade. Really close, precariously close to the Zerg forces. Finally, the Zerglings do spot it, and this Marine gets a single kill before the Zerglings finally do take it down. A second drop is going to go ahead and happen by HalfSaiyan along the southern flank of Manny's base, while a single Marine just patrols out to make sure there's no other expansion from Manny just yet. The food supply is getting dangerously high for Manny in compared to HalfSaiyan's, but a fresh round of reinforcements actually brings that count up to an even keel for both players. And this is just a heavy Marine force, and it's all going to come down to infestors. It's all going to come down to the banelings doing the major damage, while the mutalisks come in and mop up what's left of it. And if HalfSaiyan actually times this correctly, actually drop this entire squad into the main base, cause a ton of damage, while the main squad of his army, the main force of his army, attacks the front. A couple of burrowed banelings there, right on top of almost, Manny. Almost. That would have been superb if you would have caught that. Lifting them up as soon as they passed over those banelings would have netted you a bunch of free kills, but oh well. Next time, take a look at that minimap. He was actually surprised by this drop, so the droppage has occurred. Looks like Manny pulls back everything to try to stop that drop, but a nice surround by these Zerglings takes all of HalfSaiyan's army out. All the Terran forces are loaded up into medevacs and just picked apart by the mutalisks, but still there is a solid counter. Taking a look at the units lost tab, you never want to see this, especially if you're going up against a Zerg. An equal loss is loss from your own players. A single infestor is still hanging out, but nothing too crazy. I wonder what happened to the rest of the infestors. More than likely were stomped when this drop happened. But now it's going to go ahead and just panic mode for HalfSaiyan. I mean, his main base is mined out. His natural expansion is going to be mined out momentarily, while his third is looking very threadbare. So he's going to go ahead and start long-range mining. He's going to chase away this Zergling. He has enough for about 3,000 or 4,000 command centers. So I would just start building them ad nauseum and have fun with that. While Manny has already taken and secured, well, not really secured, but he's already taken his fourth. This Marine is still hanging out, making sure no cheeky shenanigans are hanging out right over there, while 7 infestors are being produced by Manny. So right now, I would definitely give the favor in Manny's corner. He is researching +2. It looks like +2/+2 for his ground forces. He has the infestor play. A single Marine is just going to go ahead and attack this hatchery. I'll be back in about 20 minutes. When it gets destroyed. HalfSaiyan is trying to mess around with good fun. This command center is going to go down very quickly. Let's see if HalfSaiyan does manage to cancel it in time. It doesn't look like he's going to save that. Nope, 300 minerals are down the drain. This mutalisk floss is going to go ahead and push forward. They're going to try to take out the reactors on these barracks. 2 reactors. 1 reactor goes down. A stim does catch a couple of the mutalisks, and they are forced to retreat. So right now HalfSaiyan is back up against the wall. He is trying to take another base, but this is just a long path from his natural third, and especially if the harassment keeps going around like it's just been doing. The missile turret has gone down. So this expansion is free to be attacked by this mutalisk flock, and right now Manny is just buying himself some time, attacking wherever the army of HalfSaiyan isn't. Taking down the refinery, goes home. He's probably going to go ahead and swing around back, going to go ahead and attack this starport or anything really that he can. This is a time where HalfSaiyan needs to split up his army and take the edges of the map to prevent any sort of damage by these mutalisks. But in the meantime, this is all just saving Manny some time and allowing him to build up a far superior force. Right now he just has units stranded around the high energies on both of his queens. His macro hatch is pretty much not being used at the moment. A fresh stream of mutalisks are going to join the rest of the flock, and again, looks like the Food count is once again in HalfSaiyan's favor. This fourth base is done, and the mules are going to go ahead and go down, and the economy is going to ramp up again for HalfSaiyan. Looks like HalfSaiyan actually took my advice, going to go ahead and split up his army, not going to be fooled again. And Manny says, fine, enough of that. I'm going to go ahead and head on home. Infestors are finally revamped for Manny. They have plenty of energy, tons of fungal growth opportunities for him, especially if he finally does engage. 4 dropships full of units are going to squeak by this Overlord. Let's see if Manny could react in time. They are dropped. This Overlord is going to go down, and a big squad of HalfSaiyan is in the main base of Manny. The Mutalisks are trying to cross the field, trying to cross the map to attack. A nice fungal does take care of almost the entire army of HalfSaiyan. A couple of more are going to decimate it, but not before that macro hatch of Manny does go down. The infestors are forced to burrow, but the Mutalisk count is a bit too high for the forces of HalfSaiyan to take care of. And it looks like that was just a very nice trade for HalfSaiyan. He almost took down the hive. He did take down the macro hatch, and he took down, it looks like, both queens that were there. So and the spawning pool was actually taken care of, so no Zerglings anytime soon for Manny, and he still hasn't put down a spawning pool in response, in retaliation. Burrow is done, so we're gonna go ahead and see some burrowing infestor play. Not sure exactly where he's sending them just yet, but the flock of Mutalisk is hanging around here, and then as soon as they spot this base, it will go down. Most of HalfSaiyan's forces are out of position. They are in the middle of the map. They are back at home, and they are nowhere near in the area to be able to defend against that Mutalisk flock. The infestors do pass by the main army of HalfSaiyan. If I were Manny, I would just pick these up, turn around, get up behind them, put down a ton of fungal growth, and take care of most of this army. But it looks like he's just pushing forward to take care of the SCVs that are being used in this fourth base. It looks like he's just bypassing another one. And where are these guys rallied to? They stopped short of that main ramp, and HalfSaiyan is just splitting up his forces while a huge battle happened over here. All of his units were taken care of, more than likely, most definitely, by the huge Baneling army that he had just ready and waiting. And looks like Manny's going to push forward. I expect to see a bunch of infested Terrans are going to be put down, plopped down, and try to take care of this base, while the flock of Mutalisks, God, I love playing flock of Mutalisks, are going to just tear through these SCVs. There is plenty of Marines here to try to stop these Mutalisks, but the Mutalisk count is too high. The Marines do finally go down. There is nothing else to protect this expansion. The planetary fortress is going to go down eventually. Looks like it is being focus fired down now, and I was expecting to go down quite soon. Taking a look at the units lost tab, still pretty much even on both sides of the field, with a resource in favor of Manny, but the food count doesn't lie. They're still about even. A nice stem forward, and look, that is just too many Marines. These Mutalisks, it looks like these Mutalisks might go down. Manny knows it and heads on home. Marines with medevac backup do quite spoke too soon, HalfSaiyan. Another fungal growth would take care of this entire army. I would like to see him a couple more fungal growths. There it is. Catches most of the Marines. 2, 3 more left. HalfSaiyan spoke too soon. The infestors were there to avenge the fallen Mutalisks. Very, very handling. Finally, a spawning pool does go down. Actually, 2 spawning pools go down, just in case one isn't enough. Actually, a little known fact, if you put down 2 spawning pools, it just makes the Zerglings that much more powerful. Exactly 2. It does cost, they only do come out 1 per egg, not 2 per egg, but it's just an interesting little tidbit that you got to try out yourself if you are in fact a Zerg player. Looks like HalfSaiyan is streaming forward with most of his units. These medevacs are leading the charge. Looks like they are clumped together in one hotkey, and you generally don't want to do that. If your medevacs get too far ahead of your ground forces, they could get picked off quite easily. Manny is gearing himself for another bit of Mutalisk harass. HalfSaiyan finally has spotted this 4th base, and it looks like he's gearing up to try to take it out. A little tit for tat for taking out that 4th base. Manny is just going to go ahead and head on home. There are plenty of SpineCrawlers here to defend this 3rd expansion, but the 4th is going to go down. Both players are just still at a standstill. Plenty of Banelings are being morphed. Where are they? There you go. And if a sandwich action does occur, it could go quite well in Manny's favor. HalfSaiyan is again maxed out with that huge macro lead, I would say. A couple of them fungal growths do take out a lot of these Marines. One more fungal is going to take out a huge clump, but that's the Terran forces are just too numerous. Manny's going to be forced to retreat. Finally, the Zerglings and Banelings are there, but not before they pretty much get filled again up with health by those medevacs. The third base of Manny does go down, and the entire forces of HalfSaiyan are done. But there is another squad ready and willing to take charge. This third base is done. A couple of mineral patches left in the expansion. Same could be said about the main base of Manny, but still, right now there is no macro hatch, down to 2 hatcheries, 1 single queen it looks like, so it looks like this could be game over for Manny. HalfSaiyan does have the superior numbers, and the infestor count is absolutely 0, I do believe. There are 17 mutalisks. They did take down this 4th base again, but the main danger is this high Marine count. Looks like a nice little stutter step action is going to go ahead and do maximum amount of damage. Nice little Zergling run by is ineffective to say the least. The natural expansion of Manny is down. It is over. I expect this game to be GG'd any second now. I mean, he's retrying to take this third, but there is nothing here to stop this main force from HalfSaiyan. So that's pretty much it for this game. It's pretty much winding down. I hope you guys enjoyed. If not, leave a comment down below on what I could do to make these more enjoyable for you. If there's a particular replay of your own game that you would like for me to cast, leave a comment down below to one of the major replay sites. I'll link to it, of course, and I'll be more than happy to take care of it for you. And let's just go ahead and watch and see what happens when these Banelings finally do encounter this wall of Marine flesh. I really hope HalfSaiyan. Oh, HalfSaiyan, step on this line. Do it. Just come on. Oh, eat that, pro. Oh, that was hilarious. So Manny with with a grand total of 4 food has I hate bioballs, too easy to micro. 3 Banelings are on the field with a single drone. Splitting is tough. Oh wow. Let's go ahead and speed this up since there isn't any. So that's it for me. I'm gonna get out of here, guys. Later.